Hey guys, this is Spartacus here, and welcome to another video where I'm here to show you guys how to easily beat the Crog-Zilla boss battle that we see here in Infinite Warfare Zombies. Of course, we have a boss battles game mode here for zombies in Infinite Warfare, and so you can basically just go straight into the boss battles to like any zombie map, and then you don't have to do any of the Easter egg steps, right? You don't have to do any of the Easter egg steps, you go straight into the boss battle, which is really fun in my personal opinion. And so I'm giving you guys tips to actually beat the Attack of the Radioactive Thing boss battle pretty easily. Now, the Attack of the Radioactive Thing boss battle is pretty difficult if you ask me. It took me so many tries to actually try and beat this myself, but I kind of figured out the best methods to actually beat it, and I'm giving you guys those tips to actually beat it yourself. So anyway, like, yeah, Crog-Zilla is the name of the boss battle, which is, of course, is just the Attack of the Radioactive Thing boss battle from that map. So anyway, let's just get straight into the tips here. So the first thing you're going to want to do is before you start your game, make sure you have some good fortune cards, especially ones that where you're able to keep all your perks if you get killed by a zombie or something like that. So make sure you have one of those fortune cards. It makes it a lot easier. Now, I actually beat the radioactive thing without any fortune cards. I only used fate cards, but I highly recommend fortune cards because those are going to be very helpful in the long run. So anyway, moving on from the fortune cards, we're going to go straight into Afterlife Arcade, where there, of course, you're going to get your perks and your weapons. And, of course, get all your standard perks, like Up and Atoms if you're playing in solo, like especially when you're playing in solo, because you probably will go down while trying to do this. So, yeah, get Up and Atoms, Tough Enoughs, Quickies, Bang Bangs, and Racing Stripes, because so that way you're able to actually run faster. Those are the ones I use anyway. And then for the weapons, I use the Mauler and the Mad. Now, in all my like tip videos of how to actually beat these boss battles, I'm always using the Mauler because for some reason I just love the Mauler in my personal opinion. It's a very good light machine gun. You don't really have to worry about reloading most of the time. And of course, the Mad is the special weapon here in Attack of the Radioactive Thing, where it's really good for taking out hordes of zombies if you're like training them. So it's kind of a good. So the Mad is a pretty good weapon for a backup. And so anyway, get your perks, get your weapons, then wait for kind of like the boss battle to load itself, and then right when you jump into the boss battle, of course, the first thing you're going to want to do is transport the bomb itself to the shore of where the radioactive thing is at. So right when you get near the actual bomb itself, it's going to start moving forward, and if you stay near it, it's just going to keep moving forward. So make sure you're staying near the bomb at all times, because there's going to be fireballs shooting at you. So right when you first get near the bomb itself, there's going to be a bunch of fireballs getting shot at you. Make sure you hip fire them with your Mauler. You could aim down your sights with the Mauler if you wanted to shoot at them, but hip firing with the Mauler makes like the fireballs go away a lot easier, so I highly recommend doing it that way. And once after those fireballs are gone for the first time, just stay near the bomb. Do not move away from it whatsoever. I highly recommend not doing that, because once you move away from the bomb, of course, the bomb will stop moving, but also once you go back onto the bomb, then more fireballs are going to be shot at you, which is just such a pain in the ass to try and get rid of, because you also have zombies coming after you. It just becomes a big mess, right? So yeah, stay near the bomb, kill as much zombies as you possibly can. Like right when you see a zombie, make sure you kill it right away. Don't wait for it to get closer to you. No matter what distance away from the zombie is, just try and shoot it right away, so that way you don't have to deal with it later. So yeah, make sure the zombies don't try, because what the zombies are pretty much essentially trying to make you do, the zombies are trying to make you move away from the bomb itself, right? They're trying to make you so you won't transport that bomb to the shore. And so once you actually stop transporting that bomb and then start transporting it again, then more of that fireball stuff is going to be shot at you, which can be such a pain in the ass, because then of course more of those like Krogs are going to be like coming after you too, which of course do a lot more damage than zombies. It just becomes a big mess. So right, so try and stay near the bomb as much as possible. And once you actually get to, once you actually transport the bomb near the actual like kind of sand dune that is near the shore, then fireballs will actually not be shot at you anymore. And so you don't. So even if you can move away from the bomb itself, then you're kind of, it's kind of like more of the safe zone area where the bomb is at. So of course, once the bomb is transported all the way to the shore where the Crog-Zilla is at, it's going to fire into the air. Then the Crog-Zilla is going to eat the bomb, and the bomb's not going to explode. It's stuck inside the Crog-Zilla's stomach. So you're like, well, what the hell do I do now? So the next thing you guys are going to want to do is try and find these laser turrets. I do believe there's like maybe 3 or 4 of them around the map. I'm pretty sure there's 4 of them, but of course, since if you're playing solo, you're only gonna have to use one of them. So the one I use is at the top right of the map, near the Crog-Zilla, where you're kind of have to go all the way up these wooden stairs, and there's kind of like this laser turret. And so what you use on this laser turret is that there's going to see this green symbol like type thing. You're going to see like this green thing appear on the chest of the radioactive thing. Once you see that chest, use that laser turret and shoot at that little green area on the like radioactive thing's chest, because that's going to actually deal damage to the radioactive thing itself. But of course it only appears there like temporarily. It'll eventually disappear. Usually, like, the green thing will actually appear once the Crog-Zilla is actually done shooting its like laser at you. So, and also make sure you're like dodging that laser too, because it kind of has like that splash damage towards it. So yeah. Once you see the green thing, use the laser turret to actually kind of charge the laser turret. Once the laser turret is all the way charged up, then it will shoot automatically. So it's a little bit hard to actually shoot these laser turrets at that little green thing. So it's kind of hard to actually shoot at. You have to be really, really accurate with it. But while you're doing this, make sure you're dodging, of course, the radioactive things like laser it's shooting at you. And of course, zombies are going to be chasing after you as well. So once you're on that laser turret, make sure there's no zombies behind you and you just don't die all of a sudden, because that will just be really, really embarrassing. And then of course, the Crog-Zilla is actually going to be doing like this kind of earthquake ground slam type thing, to where like if you are in the middle of like his path of where the kind of ground slam is coming after you, then you're going to die instantly. Like, this ground slam will get you down instantly, and it's so annoying when it happens to me. But when I'm actually playing this solo, when I actually go into the laser turret that's on the top right of that kind of that high hill there, I just go all the way to the right, up more on the hill, and then that ground slam won't be able to reach me. So I kind of always dodge it from doing that. But yeah, use the laser turret, shoot that little green thing on the radioactive thing's chest, and you have to shoot it 3 times. After you shoot it for the first time, then the green thing's just going to stay there permanently. It's not going to disappear at all. So yeah, just shoot it 3 times. At least that's what it is in solo. I do believe you're playing like 2 players or 4 players or something, then you're gonna have to shoot it more times, but I could be completely wrong about that. So yeah, shoot the little green thing 3 times with those laser turrets that you see on like the hills or like different areas of the map. And then after that, make your way back down to the shore where that bomb was, and then it wants you to activate the bomb, basically, like the teleportation of the bomb. I don't even remember exactly what it says, but activate that. So once you activate that, stay in the very back of the map. Now, most of the map is going to be actually blocked off, so just stay in the very, very back itself, because the Crog-Zilla is going to be spitting a bunch of these, like acid. It's going to be spitting a bunch of acid onto the shore itself, and if you go in that acid, it's going to start dealing damage to you, and plus you have zombies chasing after you, and you're just going to get down really, really quickly. So that's why I highly recommend staying in the back of the map, so that way you can just pick zombies off, and then the Crog-Zilla is going to be like shooting a bunch of these other Krogs, right? There's going to be like these tiny Krogs that are going to be like coming out of these like kind of the green eggs shooting out of the air. So you can just shoot those eggs out of the air, so that way that you don't have to really worry about them. But yeah, just keep picking off zombies one by one, stay in the back of the map, and then the kind of green acid kind of goes through stages where it kind of does it near the shore, then it does it more upper the shore, then it like keeps going up shore, like the spitting of the acids, until you're actually stuck into the very back of the map. And then eventually, and once like the whole like beach is covered in acid, eventually the acid will go away, but then the Crog-Zilla is going to have like a bunch of these lasers just pointing in a bunch of different directions, right? Which is very, very overwhelming. You're thinking, what the hell's going on? And then all of a sudden you see a countdown timer, and you have to go up to the bomb and try and teleport into the Crog-Zilla itself. So to do this step, the lasers that are like scattered everywhere, that's always the same pattern. So like the very beginning, and when you're in the very back of the map, make sure you like slide underneath the first laser, then right when you slide underneath it, press the jump button, so that way you can jump over this laser, because once you get hurt by this laser, it's going to deal a lot of damage on you. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, just try and dodge the lasers as quick as possible, because you have to get to that bomb in literally 5 seconds. Like, the countdown timer starts at 5 seconds and counts all the way down to 0, and if you don't make it, then you have to start that whole process all over again, which can be really, really annoying. But if you do happen to make it to the bomb and you activate it and you get teleported into the Crog-Zilla, what's going to happen is that you're going to be right next to the bomb inside the Crog-Zilla's body, and then you have to actually like pretty much do this code thing, which is actually kind of the same type of code that you would do in the like earlier in the Easter egg steps. So actually press these numbers, you're going to see like the kind of cursor is going to keep going to the right constantly, and you have to press X, or I guess square depending on what console you're playing on, to actually press one of these numbers, whatever like the kind of yellow light lands on. And these numbers are random. Like the number, like the code you have to figure out, it's a 5-digit code that you have to figure out, and it is completely random. And this is probably the hardest part of the Easter egg, and it's very, very tedious and very, very annoying, because you're probably not going to get this right on the first try. If you do, then you're probably like the biggest genius in the whole world, or the luckiest person in the whole world. But yeah, These numbers are completely random, but if I am correct, one tip to actually give you guys for these numbers is that you're basically, none of them are going to be repeated. It's a 5-digit code, and none of the numbers are going to be repeated. You're not going to see the same 2 numbers twice or 3 times or anything like that. They're all different numbers, but yeah, just keep trying to press different numbers and see which one pops up first, and remember that number though, because you're eventually going to get teleported out of the Crog-Zilla, and of course you're not going to be able to actually figure out the code on your first try, so then you have to start this whole process over again. Not the very beginning of the Easter egg, but you have to start the whole process where you actually activate the teleportation of the bomb, and then the Crog-Zilla is going to be like spitting its acid all over the beach itself, and yet that means you have to like stay in the very back of the map, and then you have to dodge all the lasers again, and then you have to go back to the bomb and teleport yourself inside the Crog-Zilla and try and figure out the code again. You have to keep doing this like unlimited amount of times until you actually figure out the code. So eventually, just remember the numbers. Remember the first number that you pick, and then the next one, because you only get 3 tries. Basically, like you get like 3 strikes, and then you're out of the actual code thing. Then you have to go back onto the code and try and do it again. Then eventually you'll get teleported out of the Crog-Zilla, and it's just a very, very tedious process. It is very, very annoying. It is not easy to figure out this code. It's a 5-digit code, and none of the numbers will be the same, so that makes it a little bit easier for yourself. So there won't be 2 5s, there won't be 2 1s. They'll all be different numbers, basically. So just try and figure out the code. Once you actually do figure out the code, though, then you're done. Like, then the Crog-Zilla is basically dead, and you beat the boss battle. But this is seriously the hardest step of the boss battle, is trying to actually figure out this code. It is not easy, you guys, but that is the best tip I can give you guys, is that none of the digits will be the same, at least from what I've tried this, all the times I've done it. It's never been the same code, or never been the same numbers in the code, so just keep that in mind. Of course, if you figure out, let's say you figure out 3 numbers, right? Let's say you figure out 3 of the 5 numbers, but then you get teleported outside the Crog-Zilla. Remember what numbers you pick, right? Because those numbers are going to be the same numbers when you go back into the Crog-Zilla. So type those numbers in, so that way you don't use up any of your like strike things, and then try and figure out the last 2 digits, and then there you go. You blew up the radioactive thing, which is pretty badass, and then you beat the boss battle, and that's it. Those are my best tips to give you guys for actually beating the boss battle itself for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare Zombies. Of course, Crog-Zilla is not an easy boss battle, like I've already said before. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to leave a rating for what you guys feel this video deserves, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more Call of Duty videos later in the future, and I shall catch you guys later.